we all keep up with the sports where you see Ja Morant, right? And the things that he was doing, and
he got bad people now.
But the thing that disturbed me the most, because he's 23, we did some stupid shit at 23.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I get it. He's a franchise player. He should know better. All I get it. But we did dumb shit at 23, right?
Yeah, but it's not he should know better. He should have people around him to know better.
My issue is, Dad is there front row all the time, enjoying the show, kicking in and doing this.
He's a part of the show. That's the problem.
That's the problem. And that's the problem I have.
So he's living through his son.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where, and obviously that's my dad. So there's probably forces around him from his dad's days that are influencing him. Like, you don't have to be there. Like, being hood and being street, when you got a $50 million contract, for what?
Yeah.
For what's the point?
And he didn't even come from that alone.
Correct.
As far as what they say, he didn't even come. But like I say, I blame, like Dad, what are you doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Are you here just for the ride? You just here to enjoy the ride or what?
I mean, but that's a question that we all can see has been answered.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? We see that because we know as fathers, we not gonna allow no shit like that.
And you hear a lot of people say, well, John's the breadwinner, so that. But wouldn't you like to think if Mike go pro or Nick go pro, you still gonna have some influence on his life?
But that doesn't start when he becomes successful.
Right, he had to start.
That starts back then, right? Like I said, David's a nurse, makes really good money. You know what I'm saying? Makes what I make. You know what I'm saying? We still have that conversation though, right? There's expectations that he learned a long time ago on how to behave himself and what not to do. I don't have to worry about anything with that. You know what I mean? Like, even with Mike, I know what my friends do. I know what he doesn't do. Because when they get in trouble, he don't get in trouble because he ain't taking it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So having the priorities straight, you teach standing, you're learning throughout the years. You know, once you get that $50 million contract, you're trying to be dad now, that would be a problem.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So if you weren't there in the beginning, you're trying to be there now, they don't have that, they may not have that close relationship or it was just a bad relationship to begin with, and now dad's like, all right, son, take care of me, let's ball out. You know, and I would go back to the Balls, right? Everyone talked all that shit about LeVar Ball. Well, all he did was promote his kids.
Right.
And got them where they needed to go. You know what I'm saying? Got them contracts, got them signed in Europe for money, and for all intents and purposes, he put his kids on. And you never heard about any, except for the one time in China. Was it China, right? Now, that's kid shit, right? You shot into a pair of glasses. That's not dad's fault. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But for the most part, straight and narrow.
Yeah.
No issue. Now, he was loud, he was brash, he was whatever, but he did his thing. He did right by his kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We
no issues.
brought that up too. We talked about that. Yeah. That's a good point.
So for stuff like that, I think as being a parent, you gotta start young.
Right.
And kind of lay that foundation. So when they do get older and they do go through certain things, that at least they have that from you. You know what I'm saying?
So, I guess, lastly, I do want to talk about, because we here in Grinders, I think me and you had a conversation recently when we was talking about, just the whole facility itself. Like, how many, you open from when to when?
Yeah, so we're open Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 5 to 8. So 5 o'clock is a core class, 6 o'clock is a speed and agility class, and then 7 o'clock is strength and conditioning. Okay. We were open on Saturdays, but since the season's kind of starting for us, we're going to go back to the 3 days. Yeah, man, sign up on MindBody or grindersacademy.com and bring your kids in, dude. We got legit equipment, you know what I'm saying? We got the Vertimax, which is state of the art. We got certified by Nike. They came out, we took the class, and they took care of us individual dollars. And my partners were all here, got certified. So this is, anyone coming, you have to be an athlete. You know what I'm saying? A kid like Smith, Donald Smith, right? That kid lost.
All right, Coach, we'll check you on Thursday.
30 to 50 pounds? And somewhere in that area? You know what I'm saying? And,
This is last season?
yeah, so season prior to that.
I give you what you need.
That's what we're like. So we have kids that come in here that are not athletes but they feel comfortable because everyone here is just working.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everyone's kind of just doing their own things, no one's getting picked on. And,
And from what I see too, along with the work, more like the kids having fun.
well, correct. That's,
Like they having fun.
yeah, we're not here to get you kicked down, right? And I think one of the things that we do is having a mixture of different level of kids helps us kind of keeps us on our toes when we kind of manage what's going on. Right? We can have the high school kids right here on 2 racks doing their thing. We can have the 8-year-old young lady over here doing her thing. So everyone's kind of rotating, but they're all looking at what's going on there. So having those high school kids and those college kids here helps. It kind of trickles down, right? They're serious. The younger ones are seeing that they want to do that, and it kind of just mirrors that. You know what I'm saying? So they're having fun working out. I'm gonna have fun working out.
What's the ages?
8 to 18.
Okay.
Now, one of the changes we are going to make coming soon is we're going to probably go 5 o'clock class, 12 and under. And that'll just be kind of like a hit class.
Okay.
So we'll kind of incorporate everything in there. Obviously, if you're younger, but you think you can kind of keep up with the older kids, you're more than welcome to come try 6 or 7 o'clock class.
So the growth from being over there on Kedzie from to here, what's the growth as far as the kids and stuff like that?
I want to say as far as what changed was we had more teams coming in.
Okay.
Like you just see, this is the Westside Warriors 13 team that just came in.
Okay.
So we probably trained about 12 teams total since we've been here. You know what I'm saying? So I think getting that the team aspect became larger. At that place, at the one on Kedzie, we probably were training I think 3 to 4 teams.
Okay.
And when we came here, it just kind of exploded to about 12 teams. We're constantly, you know.
So how you get the teams? Like how is that coming?
Well, I think social media, like
Okay.
you know, posting the workouts that we do, and then other people seeing other teams.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's kind of the biggest thing. Obviously, the Stallions started softball, and they chose Grinders to be their home. And I think even if you were to interview some of the parents, the way their kids looked in August and September, it's totally different now.
Okay.
You know, from a workout perspective. And other people see that, right? People talk. I think word of mouth is huge for us on that perspective. And then the results, right? When you're kind of trying, you're showing the videos, and then those kids actually try it out and go do things like that. It really hits home. You know what I'm saying? And having trainers like Noel back there that kind of relates to anyone. You know what I'm saying? He can do his thing.
Come on over here, man.
Hold on 1 second. 1 second.
You know what I'm saying? And that can really help you out. Right? Having good people and good trainers is where it's at. You know, we even had Jesse Plunkett Jr. He's been with us for a couple weeks now. You know what I'm saying? Doing some training and stuff like that. He's going to school for exercise science. It's perfect. You know what I mean? And obviously we go through our ups and downs, and sometimes the classes are light, especially now, right? This is when all the sports are, everyone's going outside, everyone's going to practice now, so we'll lose some of that, you know, kids, but that's when the individual and private lessons kind of take over a little bit for us.
Okay. Well, I mean, for me, like it's just the growth of things for me. You know what I'm saying? To see, because like I said, we had a conversation a few weeks back. I'm always at work, so now normally when we talk, I'm at work.
He likes calling me at 5 o'clock in the morning, asking me if I'm awake yet.
Yeah. Because I'm normally up. But we had a conversation. We was talking about that. We was talking about the growth, and you touched on it earlier. As far as you may, how did you put it? You may have losses,
But not failing.
but you're not failing.
Yeah.
You're not failing. So we did have conversations like that, and I think that's like with me and him. Well, I'll say with him.
Yeah.
He gets discouraged because we're playing interviews and people are, you know, like, yeah, I got it, I'm gonna call, I'm gonna set it up, and then they bail on us. You know what I'm saying? And one thing I try to, you know, instill in him is basically from the conversations me and you have, is that we just gotta keep grinding. You know what I'm saying?
It's part of the business. Part of the business.
Hence grinders.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? We gotta keep grinding. You know what I'm saying? And it may not be what we want, after a year or after 2 years, whatever like that. But as long as we keep going, you know.
Well, you have to look at it, right? If you were to take a business class, they're telling you 3 to 5 years. What it is that you're gonna have before you start making a profit or whatever that means. Before you deem yourself, like if you make it 3 to 5 years, you're probably gonna be around for 10 years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Depending on what you're doing.
Right.
But those first couple of years, it's just you have to lay a foundation. And it doesn't come. The people who you thought would support you,
Man,
Don't
that's
support
what
you.
I told.
right?
That's what I
And
told. That's exactly what I told.
and whatever that may be, right? Whether it's jealousy, envy, you think you're better than everybody else, you got to go to podcast, or you got to go to the gym. That just goes to the territory.
Man, you know,
You're actually not worried about that.
Another thing I had to teach myself or tell myself. A lot of people not going to take it as serious because that's not their dream.
Correct. Absolutely.
So they like, shit, I get to it because that's not. So here I am eager about it and like, man, come on.
Right.
But that's not their dream. That's not their what they want to do. So why would they be? Why would they? You know what I'm saying? Be
Yeah,
eager
don't
about
take
this?
offense. I think it's what it is. Don't get offended by people not loving what you do more than what you do.
Right.
It's kind of what it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's people who just don't understand. You right? Like it's you spend all this time doing X, Y, Z. Where your money at? Why ain't you rich yet?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where your car at? Like that's not what this is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're trying to lay a foundation for our kids where they don't have to go work for anybody else. They come here.
Right.
You want to? This is what you want to do. It's here for you. You know what I'm saying? And we're just even teaching, being an example to your kids about being a business owner. You know what I'm saying? And putting yourself out there. That's kind of what it is. You know, and much like we've all been together for a while. It's always teaching your kids how to be your own boss. Right? Like start playing the game the way it needs to be played.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you're not worried on somebody else working. You're gonna work the 40 working for yourself.
Right.
I think that's what the kind of the mindset you take on and it teaches your kids, no matter how successful you are or not. And I think that's the way you have to teach them. Like, hey, you're gonna take your lumps, man. Like you're gonna have your losses, but you never fail. You learn and you move on. And that's kind of where if you take that mindset, which is really hard to do, it took me years to kind of turn that around. Like I said, I don't even know when that Steve Harvey jump video came out, but it was always just playing. And then finally, when a couple opportunities came about that I felt good about because it's what I like to do, is when I was like, fuck it, let's go. And to you guys' point, you know what I'm saying? That's what you guys do. And it is what it is. Just continue what you're doing. It's good content, you know what I'm saying? And you'll hit it. And I told Nick you gotta do a little dance so we can
Do a little TikTok dance.
so you get into the algorithm and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So you can be
I don't know.
We'll leave that up to Nick.
I know at the back, get the kids out there to do something.
Man, so how's that Achilles?
It's better. I've been out of my boot for probably about 6 weeks now. But this is where they say it's like the danger zone. Like this is where that 6 months, between 6 and 10 months, is where like all the re-injuries happen because you start feeling good sometimes and you go a little bit above and beyond what you should.
All right, so we were coaching a playoff football game, a night game, matter of fact. And when our kids made a play, and I do believe he scored a touchdown. It was something. He made a great play.
Fumble recovery at the 3-yard line.
That's what it was.
He hit. We punted it. He hit the kick catcher. He hit the kick returner. Picked up the ball, ran it to the 3-yard line.
Right. So Dave gave and looked around like, who hit me? Like,
I asked Tom. I asked Tom twice. I was like, did you kick me? And he's like, what? And I took a couple more steps. I was like, did you kick me, dude? And then I was like, oh shit. And that it was a wreck. I heard it. Like you heard it pop. You know what I'm saying?
hey, Dave said, we helped him to say, and man, you going to the hospital tonight? Nah, man, I'm going home and hit me a couple beers or something. And I'll go in the morning, man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I seen him in the hospital all day and night after that game.
Yeah, so we didn't have some times, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I happy to see this happen. Like this is great. But I hate to see you leave the side, man.
Yeah, it's just time to retire. it's a time thing, right? I just don't have the time.
Right.
Is what it is. You know what I mean? There's things I need to give my all, and I'm chasing Bella around the country,
Yeah.
and all these things.
But you know what? It may be sad to see it, but it's a transition that needs to happen.
Correct.
Because just like Dave needed your attention and then Mike needed your attention, now it's Bella's turn, and now she needs his attention. You know what I'm saying? So it would be unfair to be half in with Bella, how he was all in with them.
I think it's just like for me personally, I think it's a comfort level. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest. Like since I've been with the Stallions, we've had our team together. Now Vic gone, you gone. You know what I'm saying? Like so, it's changed. It's changed. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You know, we're getting some new coaches with the organization. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So, you know, you happy to see people take steps in life and like Vic.
Well, yeah, and then Mike's playing college ball.
Right.
Right.
So
I want to go see him play.
Right.
You know, it's for David. I think I went to maybe I caught 3 of his games live because I was coaching football. Following the season, he doesn't play. So I missed 6 or 7 games. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not doing it this time around. It's not. It's not worth it to me.
Yeah, that's understandable. I get it. Hey man, what else you got to say, man? Anything else?
Nah, 'cause, I mean, this ain't the last time, man. You know, we'll be back and man, I just tremendous job, brother.
Oh, I wanted to tell you because you were at Julian now, right? Give me a quarterback and a couple receivers. Come out here, we'll run them on the Vertimax. No charge.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I talk to the football coach, let me know, we'll set it up, we'll come out here, put them on some of this equipment, and kind of take it from there.
Okay. Yeah, we talk about it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yeah, other than that, anyone that wants to come in and train, first class is free. We have packages online. You can go to grindersacademy.com and check it out.
You go to hard-working man right here. The hard-working
Man,
man.
All right, man, there you go. You gotta come and say what's up, man.
Say what's up, man.
What's going on, man?
Here's Coach Rosales and
Part of our family,
one as
man.
well.
How you guys doing?
Not too bad. Well, what to say, man? Grab a chair. Chair's okay. Quick introduction right there.
Yeah, so man, it's a nice place, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, like I said, it's for what it is and what it's worth for what we got to do. Now we just got to make sure we hustle and grind and make sure we keep it open.
My bad, I didn't mean I crashed the party.
We wanted you over here a long time ago, man. So what exactly do you do at Grinders?
I'm actually, I know I get qualified a lot as a personal trainer and hence, but actually I consider myself a performance trainer only because, going down the line of just training period, I felt like my aspect in training from what I've heard off of other trainers and just when I was studying the craft period was more off of more personal trainers focus in on kind of one thing, whereas performance trainers we kind of tend to think outside the box a little bit, kind of think in different ways, different workouts, just open to a little bit more different things than just one specific aspect. And I think that's what what just opened me more into just considering myself a performance trainer.
You got those bodybuilders.
Yeah, correct.
And what the difference is.
Right.
And with us building, working with youth athletes, it's more as well, not only performance, but just overall longevity of just continuing to just making sure kids appreciate and are still learning the right way like we've all learned, right? I mean, just down to push-ups, sit-ups, things like that kids don't learn in gym class anymore, you know what I mean? The burpees, the suicides, it's just literally things that, kids in high school and grammar schools, they just don't do anymore, you know? Nowadays, a lot of physical education within school is kind of throwing a basketball or throwing a volleyball and putting up a net and different curricular activities like that. Whereas, you know, I feel like growing up, we were always meant.
Well, they don't play either, right? They don't play outside.
They don't play outside.
I think we were held to a certain standard. It's funny, bouncing off that, I heard a joke that said the only people that ride bikes nowadays are Mexicans riding to work. And alcoholics. But yeah, and it's crazy and it sucks to say it, and we're kind of in society, but it was kind of good. I thought about it for a second. I was like, shit, that's actually kind of funny. But yeah, man, you know, just overall, what we've kind of, I mean, down basing, coming back to you guys, you know, we've obviously coached together before as well. You know, my thing has always just been kids more appreciating the game more than I feel like Torres knows that's why we always work together. I was never a big X's and O's kind of guy. I was more focused on making sure the kids were in the right state of mind. We're focused on making sure they're coming in every single day, repetition, making sure things are coming out clean. Was I the most likable coach? Probably not, but when the principal, who hangs out with the principal at lunchtime, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I always kind of approach things. And even down to training, I mean, we have a lot of camaraderie within the athletes that we bring in. I build a great camaraderie with our guys, you know, and our athletes, our female and male athletes that come in here, but they always get pushed, like every single time out.
And when going back to coaching on football, like when we were on it was witches at the time, and you were juniors.
Yeah.
I used to think you was crazy as shit. Like looking over there at the field and you like you know what I'm saying?
Running around,
and then like game day, you know what I'm saying? He in the middle hyping shit up and everything, like I'm like, this motherfucker crazy, man.
Well, again, if you can't be passionate about what you're doing, and that leads again to, you know, just you know, you only got X amount of time within whatever your craft is, right? You know, whether it's a 60-minute ball game or a 45-minute ball game, half hour, you got 4 innings, right? You got four quarters to just do work, right? I often tell athletes, I don't know if there's anything, you know, I brought up like, or if you guys caught when, you know, we coached together, but I mean, you practice, I've heard the statistics, you practice 90% of the time, right? So you play 10% of the time in your life.
Right.
During your lifespan, 10% of it is actual game time, actual real-time referees, jerseys, all stuff like that, right? Everything else is practice in between, right? So to not love to practice, to not hone in on that craft. Of course, at the age, the kids we bring in and, you know, just the coaching experience we had, we were youth athletes. So of course, especially youths, you know, they're gonna have their days, you know, you gotta kind of mold to it, but, you know, you gotta let them know that's okay. Having your days is okay, but just not showing up, that's kind of not okay, right? Like that's, I guess, more of
whatever your best is today, I need.
Yeah,
it doesn't be 100% all the time. It be 80%, but I need all 80%.
And the unfortunate part is, like I tell a lot of our youth athletes, it's like coaches are like teachers and are like your parents. They kind of see what your best is, and once they see what your best is, they kind of expect it all the time. Are you going to get beat up over it? You know, if you're not at your best all the time, like, okay, maybe if the coach does that, maybe you shouldn't be coaching. But, you know, if you shouldn't feel bad about not doing your best, and it not being your day, but not putting your best foot forward, that's kind of where it always fired me up within coaching, within anything. And that's kind of always why I worked well with the coach that was good with X's and O's, you know what I mean? That's why I worked good with Dan at a higher level, you know, when I was with the juniors and worked with the younger guys, and then we all were able to meet and do our thing for a while. The bit older guys have definitely always been a little bit more of my niche, only because, like, yeah, that just is what it is, you know. I like working with younger athletes, but definitely that, you know, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, high school level, you know, early college is definitely where I hone in for sure with athletes, and I tend to kind of build a little bit quicker of a camaraderie and a relationship with. But, you know, what the recipe is behind it, I have no idea, but we have people coming in. People like to get pushed, right? Everybody likes to be motivated. motivated. I think I do a pretty decent job of it. When people show up, we're here, we're gonna do work. That's what I kind of.
And whether it's 2 kids or 20 kids, it's the same shit.
Yeah, man. Kids are gonna do work. Even like 2 kids, like he just said, even if it's 2 kids, I mean, I tell them, you get a personal training session. You know what I mean? For me, that's how I look at it, right? I show up to a gym. I get an honor when I was a kid to step into a place like this. First, I'm at awe. Second, a trainer's telling me, or a guy's gonna tell me exactly what to do and stand behind me and push me and motivate me. I've never had that opportunity. And that's what respect all to Torres and what he, I'm honored to be welcomed into the GTA family and, just the vision behind it, when I stepped away, when I decided also, I kind of heard you guys talking about, the time of stepping away from coaching. You guys already had known, you guys were still doing your thing when I was already taking my, kind of my approach back. But even then, he knew it wasn't going to be very long before I was in something, because I was already brewing up an idea to go to the high school level and trying to figure things out on that note. But just being able to help kids out more on this note was definitely.
When Matt and I were looking for somebody, I was like, I got a dude.
Right.
I was like, he's a dude. He's like, he legit. He's probably one of the best, just all around trainers in the area. You know what I'm saying? Like he won't say, oh, he'll whatever. He is. Like I can legit put him up against most people. You know what I'm saying? Just because the attitude and just the energy. Right? That's what it's, the energy.
Right.
That's what it is. Like I'm not that. Right? So that brings back to why we kind of all fit, because we're all a little different.
Yeah.
It all just works together. Like we work together because we all bring something different to the table. And he brings the energy. Him and Vic brought the energy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Vic brought the rowdiness and the I'm gonna fight everybody. He brought his energy and then the X's and O's.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So everyone kind of fit together really nice. And when we were looking at people for grinders, I was like, we gotta come well. Like we gotta bring this dude in because it's the energy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I was perfect timing too, because I was on my way out with the Stallion, still working on the board. Had kind of already took a little step away from coaching already at that point. But it was kind of weird because when you sit around for a little bit, you guys already know being coaches as well. Like there's only a matter of time before it just starts calling. You see games, you just I'm like shit, kind of like what am I? And then when this came, when Torres gave me the call, I'm like, you know what about the training thing? I was like, I kind of am. I'm not a trainer, but I kind of am. You know what I mean? Like I've always, it comes hand in hand, and I've always been a big workout head. So like, it's like, all right, let's give it a go. You know what I'm saying? Because it was an easy transition, I guess is what I should say, to hone in from coaching to actually being, I know, a trainer, performance trainer. And for me, it was. Well, just like we said, you can't teach a dog to bite. You can't teach that hunger. For me, it was definitely not an easy transition because just dealing one-on-one with kids was a lot different versus having a whole team. I definitely, Torres knows, I work better with teams. Like for sure, you guys have seen me. Like I can drive a group of guys. I do it at work. I lead jobs at work. I'm a decent lead guy for a little peanut that I am, a little freaking guy. I can definitely lead, I can lead troops, like 100%. Always been good with that. I just like the challenge, and I feel like, I don't want to say easy, I just feel like when you're focused and you kind of want to do something, it's like, it's just it becomes easy, it's a hunger, it's a challenge kind of thing, so it's like, a new challenge I guess I took it as a new challenge more than anything, and at that point I was kind of looking for a new challenge, and the next challenge, if this didn't come along, I was just going to I was trying to get into a high school or perhaps an intern on the college level, somewhere close, and just be a sideline guy running water bottles, doing that, just kind of work my way up. Work my way up. I was just trying to get in, and that's kind of where I was at with my name, and then when this came along to kind of, do this, I'm like, well, coaching can kind of take, I was already out of it, so I'm like, I can focus in on this, be hungry about this, and it was a good, like, even down to you guys saw the last place, this place, you know, obviously 10 times, but, you know, we were in a good position where we were at, you know, where they were at before, and, you know, they thought it was time to grow, and I said, let's go, let's do it, so, you know, here we are.
And going back to what you guys are talking about, just always study, you know what I'm saying? We're going back studying the other, hey, look at this drill now. Look at this footwork, look at this dude, what they're doing. Look at, you know, plyometrics, look at explosion. So we're all doing the same thing. I'm doing it with hitting. My partner Matt's doing it with pitching. He's gonna start doing the hitting. You know what I'm saying? So we're all constantly just evolving and growing and trying to make sure we can give everything we can to whatever kid comes in.
Right.
Right? Like if you need it, I got you. And I got you. We're gonna do it well. That's the thing, you know what I'm saying?
So you said you started out with 2 to 3 teams, and now you all have how many teams?
We probably have about 9 to 12 teams rolling in and out of here at different times.
Okay. Growth.
Most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So, and there's a bunch of people talking. You know, there's a beautiful turf field outside. We took a little video of that.
Yeah.
And we'll see when it rains out and someone wants to train. You know, they give us a call and get some private training in on the turf.
So hey, another dope episode, Bring the Business. Dave Torres, Noel Rosales.
Appreciate everyone.
Hey.
Appreciate you guys.
Grind this, baby. Come on, check them out.
Check us out, man.
Thanks for having me. Party, man. Thank you, guys.
I think that should
You said-
happen.